This is a quickish video of my sump, which filters etc. my 100 gallon total reef tank, thereabouts. So I'm just going to run through some of the equipment etc. and here we go. First of all, you can see the pipe coming down from the tank into the sump with the ball valve, which is a bit tricky, but that balances the amount of water in the weir. You can see it's approximately at the 2 o'clock position there. Water comes down into the sump, of course, and the first thing you can see there is an AQUATICS reactor. That's the multi-reactor, the medium size, and in that I have some carbon. I just like to run carbon a little bit every now and again, just do a little bit of a polish. How well it works, it seems to do a decent job. Not a bad little reactor for the money, I suppose. Now if I can get a decent shot in here, we have 2 shotting oxidators. Those 2 brown ball-like things are actually the tops of the oxidators. The oxidator A models, 2 of them, and they run on hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide gives off a lot of oxygen. This ensures my tank runs at optimal oxygen levels at all time, and helps raise the redox amongst many things. I could spend a video on just those alone, but we'll move on. But I'm a firm believer in those, and I've run them on my reef system for many years. Moving right along, and we have here, and this is the protein skimmer, which as you can see is a NIOS 160 protein skimmer. One of the best skimmers on the market, I believe. Does a really fantabulous job. Fills that cup, I would say, within 3 days or so. We've done a slight mod on that, and because it fills so quickly, I've put a tap on the drain so I can drain it off. Skim up the cup, that is. Put that back. Could make it a little bit lazy, but given that it can fill a cup in three days or so, I tend to drain it off, and then once a week give the cup a good clean. In fact, it's due a good clean now. You just lift the lid and you'll see bubbling away there. Just put it back out. Moving along, and there we have my DIY algae turf scrubber. And what you can see there is a leaflet box I've used to house the screen, which is obviously inside, and you can, it's difficult to get a shot, but the water's running down the screen there. This needs cleaning every 7 to 10 days, and it is lit by 2 quite powerful 30 watt each hydroponics LED units, containing mainly red LEDs, but with a few blue ones in there. This is why you're getting, well, what to me looks pinkish, what to you looks maybe a little bit purplish, but I can show you it's more of a pink light, reddy pink light, which grows the green hair algae on the screen very well. That in turn is fed by its own pump, a Tunsi Silence pump, 3,000 litres an hour, and it's centered in the end compartment there. It's difficult to get a picture of that, but that's you can see it's fed there, and I can break the whole thing down, take the screen out, clean it and put it back with ease. Moving on further down, you can just about make up in the bottom there, that's a Santa Monica Surf 2 algae turf scrubber. And what I do with them is I clean them in rotation, so when the main screen is being cleaned and there's very little green air algae on it, the Santa Monica one will continue to do a job, so there isn't too much of a drop and peak there in terms of the turf scrubber performance. Now this is all set up on a rig that I made out of 3/4 22mm, I believe, plastic pipe, as you can see, which is sitting on some egg crate. Now in there I've got Cyperax that 20mm, I think it is, zipper racks. Now that is approximately 10 inches wide by about 14 inches front to the back, and that's full of zipper racks media. Moving right on, you can see here a little blue light. That is in fact my auto top up. That's an AquaSmart auto top up, and what that does of course is when there's evaporation, that will turn on the pump to show you from my reservoir and tops up the sump end compartment. And there is my reservoir. That holds something like, I think it's something like 8 litres or so, 10 litres. That will last me a good 2.5 days. I top it up daily. If I need anything longer than that, I can always put a bigger one on, which have a bigger barrel that holds 20 litres if I was going away for a couple of days. Sitting on top of there, you can see there's a Tetra air pump. That's a Tetra 300, which is supplying the Santa Monica turf scrubber. So this little pump, as you can see in the reservoir, the pipe comes up and it feeds my Aquamedic calc stirrer. So the water from the res goes into the calc stirrer. So all evaporated water is replenished with calc water to help keep the calcium up and KH. So moving on, you will notice there the little tap. That is in fact supplying my Vertex RX-C6D calcium reactor, which has coral chippings, coral gravel chippings, or whatever you want to call them, and on top of them the lighter media is in fact magnesium. So this is supplying both calcium and magnesium to the aquarium. You can just make out the bubble counter there. At the back I have a 2 kilogram, difficult to get a pic of it, but a 2 kilogram fire extinguisher. The gauges which is supplying CO2 to the calcium reactor, which of course is lowered in the pH to allow the media to dissolve, which in turn adds calcium, magnesium to the sump, and in turn to the aquarium, which obviously the corals use to build their skeleton. The return pump on the sump is a Jerboa 8000 return pump. You can just about see it down there. Also in there there's a Tunzi silencer pump 3000 litres an hour, which supplies the turf scrubber. The 800 also supplies the calcium reactor, as you can see, but returns back along the valve at the back there, and a pipe there going back to the aquarium. The middle pipe of the three is in fact an emergency overflow pipe. So basically that doesn't get used, or would only get used if there was a serious problem or blockage and water would overflow through there. Right, well that's just about that in terms of me sump. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it of interest. Any questions, by all means ask. Thank you for watching and listening.